Hi, my name is Maria Boldry, and this is my husband, Stephen.
Hello.
And we own a wellness center in Colorado. One of the things that we teach at our wellness center, anybody who comes in, we teach them how to muscle test or sway test. Muscle testing is a tool that a lot of practitioners use across the country, alternative health industry, to help determine what the body needs, what your body needs in terms of supplementation or any kind of tools that are necessary energetically to help your body come to a state of health. When somebody walks in the door to our wellness center, one of the big things that people want to know is, what do I need for me? And that's a big question across the country, is what supplementation do we need? So we're going to demonstrate today what muscle testing is, the scientifics behind it, the physics behind it, because that's one thing that a lot of practitioners leave out. And you have to keep going back to practitioners to find out what it is that you would need for supplementation. But we like to teach and be an educational part of your process so that you can determine what you need for you. Muscle testing is a way to actually tap into the subconscious part of the mind. So people use it for a lie detector test, which we've done with our kids.
Absolutely.
We have very accountable kids because they grew up with us muscle testing truth or falsehood. So a lot of practitioners or people will use it for that purpose. But one of the big things that we like to show is sway testing for nutrition. So we're just going to demonstrate muscle testing and the physics behind it so you understand it. The first thing that when someone walks in is I ask them if I can use their shoulder. And so I'm just going to hold his shoulder up here. And he's just going to give me a nice, strong, firm tension against my pressing down. So you can kind of see that I'm doing that, okay? And then I'll have them give me a strong arm again. Good. And a strong arm again. And he did try.
I am not. There's no way when you do the muscle testing, as soon as you feel resistance where it's going down, let it go down. Because I could hold my arm here all day.
Yeah, and I could just keep pressing, and it would be a great lat workout. But so basically, I just say, give me a strong arm, and then I turn my hand around, give me a strong arm, okay, and it starts to come down. And then I'll say, now say your name.
My name is Stephen.
Give me a strong arm. Awesome. And then I'll say a falsehood. So say, my name is Henry.
My name is George.
Okay, and it's not. And so you can see the difference between the strength and not. And then I'll brush their energy up. Give me a strong arm. Great. And then I'll ground their energy. Give me a strong arm. And their arm goes down. Okay. And you're trying. I can feel the resistance that he is trying.
Oh, yeah.
So let me explain what was happening here. What I want you to do is I want you to think of two magnets. We're electrical. We just are. We can be electrocuted. So
Right.
we're positive and negatively charged. Okay. So our energy runs positive, negative. Now it's a lot more complex than that, but just for simplicity's sake, I want you to think of an atom and what you've typically seen, all the spiral around an atom or a molecule, it's energy. And so positive, negative, around us, just like around an atom, okay? So let's say the front of us is positive and the back of us is negative, okay? And so now I want you to think of those two magnets again, a positive and a negative. And the energy is flowing all the way through. There's no resistance, so they stick really good, okay? So now take that back to when I was demonstrating the muscle testing. If I take my back side, which is the negative side of my hand here, and I put it up to the positive side of Stephen's forehead, then just say, give me a strong arm, and it's rock solid, okay? Just like those two magnets, positive and negatively charged. But what happens when you turn a magnet around?
It doesn't stick.
It doesn't stick. They sort of repel. The energy is actually disruptive, okay? So when I turned my hand around and did positive to positive, his arm went down, okay? And that was just demonstrating that. Then I asked him to say, my name is Stephen, nice and rock solid, and then my name is Henry, and he said, my name is George, and his arm went weak, okay? Again, that's just
False
showing.
no matter what.
Think about a lie detector test. How does that equipment gauge whether we're telling the truth or not? Well, it's taking into account our perspiration, our energetic flow, that flow. And when we say a falsehood, it's actually disruptive to this energy. When we say something truth, it's actually enhancing to this flow, okay? Then I brought his energy up, nice and strong, and then I grounded his energy, which doesn't sound bad, but his arm went weak. Okay, so now I want you to think in terms of just energetics, martial arts. Everything against your opponent is in somewhat of a downward strike, but for you, it's an upward sweep. And we just think it's really cool over here, but they get it. It's all about energy. I'm trying to disrupt your energy. I'm trying to disrupt your energy while keep mine strong so that my uppercut may actually land and work. So that's the physics behind it. So this segment, we're going to talk about actually muscle testing supplements when you're using someone. We are in another segment going to show how to sway test on your own because I think it's a very important tool for you to have for yourself. But when you have someone close and you can use their muscles and their arm, it's really helpful.
I am close, aren't I?
You are close. Thank you. Okay. So let's say you have a supplement. This is just a vitamin C supplement, and you want to find out, is this the best supplement for you? Well, or for the person that you're testing. So I'm going to have Stephen hold this just at his sternum. So you would just hold it up here. And then we would just see if there's a strong arm. So just give me a strong arm. And that's actually not harmful because it's in his energy field. Okay, so this vitamin C is in his energy field and his arm isn't going down. It's staying nice and strong. So that means it's actually okay. So then I'm going to have him move his arm out to his side and then give me a strong arm again. Okay, and it's strong again, meaning it's neutral. It's okay within his energy field and it's okay once it's exited his energy field, which means it's probably not a supplement that you'd want to spend your money on. This is not the right vitamin C for you, or maybe he's had enough today based on the supplements that he has taken. So this is just a good indication, okay? So now we're going to just have him hold a different one. Just give me a strong arm. Awesome. And then hold it away. Give me a strong arm. Now his arm went weak on that one. So this actually means that this is actually very helpful because it actually increases the flow. It makes him stronger when it's in his field. But then when he moved it away, his arm went weak. Well, actually, that means then he's actually better off with him taking it. Because
when it's in my field, I want it, right?
You want it,
okay.
Right. And then when you move it away and his arm goes weak, it's actually like, wow, this would be really beneficial, highly beneficial. Let's try this other one. This is just another multivitamin. So hold this one. Give me a strong arm. See, his body doesn't even want this one. And it's just that there's probably something in here that maybe this one has more of. So when you go to the health food store and you see all these different vitamins on the counter and they're all multivitamins, which one do you pick? Well, you find which one actually increases your flow. And if you find one that when you hold it here, your arm goes weak, that's not the one you want, okay? So now we're gonna look at some things that are harmful. And he has a cell phone here. So go ahead and put that down on the table and then just get me a strong arm without it. Perfect. And now go ahead and hold that up to your heart and give me a strong arm. Wow. So you can see that anything that emits an electromagnetic frequency is actually pretty harmful, and that's going to be anything. You can try this with other things like cigarettes, equals, saccharin, pop, anything,
food.
Just a food in general, just to find out, if this would be something that would be good for you or not. Okay, in this segment, we'd like to show you actually how to muscle test on your own. And this is the big part of my education here that I offer to people at the Wellness Center when I'm working with them, because I think it's important that you know how to read your own body. So the biggest part of sway testing is we already have it internally. We already found out in the last segments that our energy flows positive, negative around us, and something that's good for us will actually increase this flow or make us stronger. Well, God already gave us this sort of innate feeling of moving towards something that is good for us, or actually pushing away from something that's not good for us. So think of somebody coming in the door to greet you. What do? You get up out of your chair, you go extend a hand, you go give a hug. But what happens if somebody comes in that sort of bristles you? You sort of step back, you kind of cross your arms, you don't tell them I'm here, and you run and you hide. So we already have this pull or this push to things that are good or bad for us. Think of a little child, little Susie, who doesn't really want to give Uncle Henry a big hug because he's really tall, and so she hides behind her mom's skirt. But the mom will actually convince the little girl to go give a hug. So we've had these feelings of pulling and pushing, the things that are good for us and that we're equally yoked with, things that are not so good for us. We've already had these types of things sort of taken out of us as little kids. Think of a plate of food, okay? So cooked spinach and cooked carrots. Which one would you go to? Cooked spinach. And I know that I would go for cooked spinach, and maybe you would go for cooked carrots. Why do you do that? Well, because the taste of it is one thing, the texture of it is another, but really internally it's about how many enzymes your body has. We're not thinking about this when it's happening.
It's like clean up your plate, right? You may not have even wanted that.
A little child that may not want the cooked carrots, but the parent will actually push them into eating it, even though enzymatically they may not have the right enzymes to actually digest it. Do they know it consciously? No. It's something that's happening internally, but we're already pulled to something that's good for us, or we push away from things that we don't really like.
Do you push or pull from me?
I pull to you. Okay. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to tell you or show you how this pulling or pushing you can utilize with supplements. So you're going to pick up something and you're just going to hold it at your sternum. And so some people will say, well, how does the body know what's in the bottle? How do your energy pass through the glass or pass through the plastic? Well, how do our cell phone waves get to our cell phone? We're not attached to the wall anymore like we used to be. So how does that happen? Well, our energy far exceeds the external part of our skin. Our body's reading things, just like when somebody walks in the door and you already feel whether they have they're kind of angry or I can tell on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because my face is red, right?
so what we want to do is we want to tap into that internal feeling. So if you pick up something and you hold it here, your body's already reading what's inside the plastic or the glass. It just already is. It's already doing it. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can see, and I'm going to sway test this for me. So what I'll ask is, this would be good for me to take. And see, I'm already feeling this little bit of a pushback. And if I pick up something like this and I say, this would be good for me to take, and I'm feeling a slight pull forward. Now, some people will really fall forward. Some people will really push back. Some people may not feel anything. So this is what I'd like to do with you, is if you stand up right now with me, and you stand where you're at, try to be still from your knees down. You can stay seated. Okay. So just stand up and just be really relaxed. And just, you're going to feel something internally. I know that one of the cameramen that we had here one time, he didn't show anything physically, but he said he felt internally a movement or a wanting for that. So when you stand there, be really still, and then just say, my name is, and state your name. My name is Maria. And I feel a pull in my quadriceps. So when you stand there, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds, say your name, and see if you feel something either internally or externally feel the pull forward to your name being truth. Did you feel anything? If you didn't, it's okay. This is what I want you to practice. There are a lot of people that have a hard time feeling.
And it comes from different areas too, not from, it comes from your chest or from your stomach, down your legs. So even if it's a pull from your head.
Yeah, I've even had people say, oh, I felt that in my ankles. And I thought, oh, that's neat. I feel mine in my quadriceps and my hamstrings. But what you want to do is you just want to get to a place where you actually feel a pull or a push. And this is something that some of you may really have to practice because we're so used to being in our head. We're so used to being kind of gearheads and overthinking the process of everything. And am I feeling me move or am I not? So what I really want you to do is just practice on feeling, what does it feel like internally when you come into contact with something that could be of value to you? Okay, so now that we've helped you determine sway testing, one of the things that people ask is, well, I know that I have allergens. I'm allergic to this or I'm allergic to that, and I have to go to a practitioner to find out. Well, you can actually use the sway testing to determine what it is that you need. So if you think you're maybe allergic to apples or the apple or pear group, you can actually just hold it here and you can ask the question. Your body knows, don't overthink it, your body knows this is something that I'm allergic to. See, and I'm pushing back. So I'm not allergic to this. A back is a no response and a forward to it is going to be positive.
What if it's just like, if this is good for me, not just whether I'm allergic to it or not?
Certainly. And if you are wondering if you're on a low caloric diet and you're wondering, have I had enough today and eating this one more grapefruit's going to kick me over the scale, you can actually ask those questions. You can get as specific as you want. You can muscle test things about when you read an article and let's say someone says almonds are not good for you. Okay, well, just find out. We're all so different. Stephen's chemistry is completely different than mine. Mine is completely different from his. And enzymatically, we're completely different. So obviously, we're going to have different things that maybe he can digest really well, and it leaves a clean ash residue. It's not inflammatory to his system. It doesn't make him gain weight. But then I eat those things, and it's completely different. So that's just another thing that you can test with food. Another thing I like to test to tell people is about the supplements that are sold with multi-level marketing companies, and we've been in a few.
Yes.
And one thing that they always really tout is that our supplement should be in the hands of every person, and every person should use them. Well, the nice thing about multi-level marketing companies is typically they inflate their prices a little bit to pay for the downline, but they usually have enough money. Boy, they really have their research down.
Yeah.
Those companies make really good products. But one thing that is really important for me is to make sure that that supplement is good for you. So I have a few different multi-level marketing products here. You may have some on your counter at home. There may be some already sitting there and you're not really
should I use this or
Yeah,
not?
should I use it or not? Or you're not really drawn to it. Well, now you have a technique that you just hold it up and you can sway test it and muscle test it. Is this good for me? Or is this one good for me? And it may be good for you, but maybe not some of the other members of your family, and vice versa. So another reason to just check, because a lot of those products are higher priced, but if they're higher priced and they're good for you, they're worth it. Okay, in the industry of alternative health, there are a lot of different tools of the trade. There's tuning forks, there's lasers, there's Rife machines.
There's all kinds
There's
of
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff. And a lot of times people will purchase units to have at home or different types of equipment to have at home, but then really not know how to use it specifically for them or each member of the family. So sway testing is, or muscle testing, but sway testing yourself is a great tool or technique for you to be able to determine what is it that you need to be doing for the length of a treatment, or which equipment that is good for you. Some people are better with sound with a tuning fork. Some people are better with a laser, a scalar wave laser. Some people are better with Rife. So I just want to sort of go over a little bit of how you would check on something like that. So here I have a laser, and I'm just going to turn it on. And let's say I've been out playing tennis, and I've got some tennis elbow going on. And lasers have been FDA approved now for anti-inflammatory, so inflammation, arthritis type, pain relief, that type of thing. And this particular laser has probably about, I would say, 45 to 50 different settings, so different varying wavelengths. But this one I have just is called Unwind, and I just would put it on my elbow and
Start unwinding.
and just start unwinding. And so what I would want to know is this a good frequency for me? And so that's something that literally just holding it here, you could actually ask your body, because your body knows. This is a good frequency for me. This is a good frequency for my elbow. This is a good frequency for my joint, however you want to word it. And then just see if you fall forward to that or if you sway back from it. So if you fall forward to it, it means it's actually enhancing to your flow. It's good for you. If you fall back, you go, oh, okay, that's not the right frequency.
Does that mean that's not good for you then?
Not necessarily on this particular one that it's not good for you, but there may be one that's better. So like, let's say you've got some ligament or tendon issues that you're working on. Maybe this frequency would be better. And so then you can actually ask, this would be better for my elbow. And if you fall forward to it, then we'll sit with that for a while. And then what happens, how do you know when you're done? You ask the same question. You just say,
Or it turns off.
or it turns off. But if you need more, you could just say, I am complete with this, or this is complete. I'm finished with this session. And if you fall forward to it, I'm complete. If you push away, oh, I need more. And so you're just going to use the sway testing. You could also use somebody else's arm to determine, am I complete with this, or do I need any more of this particular frequency? So that would be just a good way for you to determine what tool would be good for you, what modality would be best for you, how much time, the timing. Same thing with a tuning fork. Some people are great with sound. Sound is a great energy tool. Or tuning forks are great energy tools to use for healing organs, helping with an energetic pattern if there's some emotional blockages. And so this one is, has everything on the scale. So what you could do is you could actually move it up to E, and then you could actually sway test this is a good frequency for me, and see if you fall forward. And then you could utilize that. Another really popular item that's come back is the Rife machine. That's the technology's back from the 1930s. So Rife machines are very helpful. And there's a lot of different codes. There's a lot of different frequencies that you could use. And you may not have a really good manual or really know. There's so many different frequencies.
I have you.
You have me. But there's a lot of really good frequencies. So what you could do, some of them have rods that you actually hold. Some of them have clips that you hold. But the dials themselves, you can actually put in a frequency, and then as you're holding it and it's on, you can actually then again sway test. This is a good frequency for me. And if you fall forward, you fall forward. And if you push back, that's a no. If you fall forward, that's a yes. If you push back, that's a no. And again, you can find out when you're complete with that modality. This is complete for me. And if you fall forward, you're complete. This is complete for me. If you fall back, that's a no. Do it a little bit longer.
So that's the same with if I wanted to check on how many of these I needed, right?
Yes, it is. In fact, we can check that right now for the camera. So go ahead and hold that. And just hold it up to your sternum and just give me a strong arm. Okay? And then hold it away and give me a strong arm. And remember what that meant. It was strong it was in his field.
So that means I want it.
You want it. And then when he held it away, it actually, and his arm went down, it actually meant that he's stronger. His energy is more impressive when it's within his field. So now we can actually open it up and find out how many you need. So you can do this with any of your supplements. So we're just going to put one in his hand, hold it at your sternum, and just give me a strong arm. Okay, so that's no. Hold two, give me a strong arm. There you go. There's his dosage. So he would
So
take
what if that's
two.
different than what's on the bottle?
That's a really good point because the RDA standards, the recommended daily allowance on every bottle of supplementation, is really based on some data from quite a number of decades ago. And we are a lot more toxic now in our life. We probably need more nutrition than ever. So following just the guidelines on any bottle of nutrition is
That's not like medication, because medication is different.
medication is different.
Yeah, you got to follow what it says in the medication.
Follow what your
bottle.
doctor says on your medication.
Right.
But anytime there's a supplement, whether it be a multivitamin or vitamin C or B vitamins, that type of thing, you can actually sway test or muscle test your dosage. Especially like with B vitamins, what happens if you had a really stressful day yesterday? You might need a lot more B vitamins today than you did yesterday. So you can actually sway test your dosages or your frequencies that you're using every single day because they could change. So really, sway testing and muscle testing is a science. It's a lot of people have said it's quackery and it's just
But it's actually really easy and it's very teachable. It's not very hard to learn.
it's not woodgy at all.
Yeah.
It's really scientific. It's based on physics and quantum energy. And if you can start really honoring that about you and getting in touch with your own feelings internally again, you're going to be able to really know exactly what you need to eat, what you need to take for supplementation, who are the people you need to be around. You can even muscle check, this is a good job for me. Maybe this job that you're in is toxic. Well, you can actually sway test that and you can find out, is this in my highest and best interest to leave this job or find something new?
I hope not. I work with you.
You work with me, so I hope not too. But hopefully this has been helpful in just sort of rounding out the whole thought process of muscle testing. And feel free to go back and watch the video as many times as you can, just so you have your own feeling of intuition of what's good for you and what's good for your family. Thanks for joining in.